Hi, and welcome to Ambassador Language Course's third video upload. And I'm actually very happy with this one because, this time you can actually see my face. And yeah, I actually recorded this using my phone and a couple of things I have lying around in my house, so I hope you don't mind the video or the audio quality. Yeah, so today I'd like to talk about why a lot of Indonesian people find, language proficiency tests like IBT or IELTS extremely difficult. So a lot of people, when they sign up for an IELTS class, after the placement test, they always tell me, "Oh my God, this test was hard." Yeah, and it is actually quite a hard test. But honestly, I do feel like there are a couple of problems that's causing them to feel like it's really hard. Yeah, so the first thing is that when you're thinking of language proficiency tests, you're immediately thinking about TOEFL PBT. Now this is a problem because TOEFL PBT is an incomplete test. So the test was created back in 1962, and when they created it for students who are thinking of going to study in the United States, for some reason they did not include a speaking section. Now this is a huge problem. How will you know that you know how to actually speak in English if you're not measured in that aspect? Instead, there's a structure section which measures how familiar you are with the grammar. But how's that going to help you in your daily life conversation? That's not actually going to help you. So what we have right now is actually a bit worse. In Indonesia, what we actually have is the ITP, TOEFL ITP. And this is kind of worse because right now in that version, the writing section is optional. So you can actually go through the test without taking the writing section. So this is a huge problem because when you take the IELTS test or the IBT test, and basically we know that these tests, you actually have to score 6.5 or 7 depending on what you want to study. And these tests include the speaking section and the writing section. How are you going to know what you're going to get in those tests if they don't prepare you for it? So this is a huge problem. And the second problem here is that very simply, English education in schools are just not good enough. Honestly, there's too much focus on language, grammar, on concepts, and they don't actually focus too much on how to actually use the language, in a conversation or in writing. There's not a lot of training in that. And so, when doing the IELTS test or the IBT test, again, you're never confident because, those are the two aspects that you're never prepared for. So what can you do? What's the solution? All right, here's the thing. You actually, from now on, you actually have to stop thinking that whatever it is that you get at school is good enough, or that you only need to prepare enough to take tests like PBT. You gotta scrap that for now. If you're thinking of studying overseas, at least, you gotta start looking at language as something that you want to apply, you want to use in your speech or in your writing. So say you learn a new word. Don't feel satisfied with just knowing the meaning of the word, but also think about how to use it in speaking, in writing. Just find ways to apply it and spend time, 10, 20 minutes a day actually using the word that you just learned. And beyond that, of course, expose yourself to obviously you have access to internet, and if you like watching Hollywood movies, look at them not just as sources of entertainment, but look at them as sources of learning. Here's something nice when you're watching something, a good sentence or whatever, use it. Okay? And so focus more on the productive skills, and you'll achieve a much better score when taking the IELTS or the IBT test. And the last thing I want to tell you guys, before I leave you, is you should never feel intimidated when it comes to learning a language. I know a lot of people who feel like that. But honestly, language mastery doesn't depend on your IQ. It really doesn't. It depends on how much hard work you want to put in. Okay? If you're a high school student right now, all right, practice. Students who learn with me, they know I'm a pretty, like, I believe in something that's old school. Practice makes perfect. So focus more on practicing in writing or in speaking, and you'll get there. I believe that. And well, obviously, of course, if you sign up with me, I can help you. Anyways, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next one.